Some EU myths are easy to bust. Bendy bananas, double-decker buses, cotton chips, custard creams, all icons of Britishness that Brussels is hell-bent on interfering with if you believe the British press, which, on this particular subject, you probably shouldn't. But others are more complicated. The Leave side say Brexit would cut immigration massively, but judging by its problems cutting non-EU migration, it might not prove so easy. Plus, if Britain wants special access to the single market, it'll need to keep some kind of freedom of movement. Leaving will put 3 million jobs at risk, say some on the Remain side. But that's based on a 15-year-old estimate of the UK jobs that depend on EU exports, and no one is seriously suggesting all exports would just stop. The Leave side says Britain sends Brussels £350 million a week, but that doesn't include the British rebate or what comes back in EU spending. EU membership actually cost the UK less than half that figure last year. It's like saying a pint of beer costs £20 if you pay for it with a £20 note and don't count the change. The government says the EU is worth £4,300 to every UK household. It also reckons house prices would fall by 18%. But exact numbers like these are almost meaningless because the calculations are based on unknowns. Almost all economists think leaving would hurt Britain's GDP, but exactly how badly, nobody knows. The Leave campaign trumpet the fact that Turkey and its 75 million mostly Muslim citizens are joining the EU, but Turkey has been joining the EU since 1987 and has still only met one of the 35 necessary criteria, plus all existing EU members, including Britain, have a veto. The Remain campers suggested EU citizens in Britain and British citizens in EU countries may have to go home after a Brexit. But what visas and permits may become necessary will depend on what deal Britain negotiates, and no one will just be kicked out. For many on the Leave side, the real issue is sovereignty. They don't want to be bossed about by Brussels. But are we? It's true, many UK laws are made in the EU. But you could argue fewer than 15% or more than 60% and arguably be right. And what's sure is that since 1999, British ministers have been outvoted on just 2% of new EU laws. Mostly, the UK gets what it wants. So, myths, half-truths and lies on both sides. Over to you. The European Union has changed our daily lives. Electronic appliances are now greener and safer and come with a 2-year guarantee.